Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed your long holiday weekend. We got a packed show tonight. We're going to check in on the Midwest, talk to our storm chaser, Aaron Jack, and check in on the couple tower cameras on our active weather as well, show you the forecast for the next couple days. But of course, we're going to first go to the app check-in and check in on this severe weather that's happening right now and still ongoing in the Midwest. As you can see, the radar is showing us a line is going through parts of the Midwest, triggering several severe thunderstorm warnings. There's also a severe thunderstorm watch in place, but take a look at how bright that radar is. So definitely seeing an active evening. We've had several hail reports, big hail reports all across the Midwest, and even damaging winds. So zooming in the Chicago area, you're still under a severe thunderstorm warning as of right now, but looks like the line has moved through. We're just going to see some lingering thunderstorms right behind us. But of course, the severe thunderstorm warning doesn't mean that you're out of the waters yet. This goes until 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. if you're in Eastern Time. And then our next severe thunderstorm watch is actually for the Michigan area there in the Lansing, even includes Detroit. This goes until 11 p.m. So the thick of it is not over for you yet. You're actually going to get in on this in the next couple of hours. But if we take a look at our radar layer, I'm going to fade it a little bit just so you can see where all of our active warnings are. These yellow boxes right now, you're seeing several severe thunderstorm warnings, which means it's an active scene right now, especially here for the Chicago, outside of the Chicago suburbs. You're seeing a severe thunderstorm warning, and this includes several counties in those areas. But again, until 5 p.m. Kalamazoo, Michigan, you're seeing a severe thunderstorm warning as well. And this goes until 5:45 with severe hazardous winds up to 60 mile per hour could be expected with this. And of course, damage all across the board. So definitely a continuing active scene here. But I also want to check in on a little bit of something just to give you an update of what Hurricane Ida left for us here. So I'm going to toggle on the power outages. And actually, let's go back to the Midwest as you're seeing several power outages as we're seeing several severe thunderstorms move through. And in this red zone, we have about 4,000, almost 5,000 customers without power. And these outages keep going up. Gratiot County, you're seeing an outage, 364 customers without power. So definitely an active scene there. But like I mentioned earlier, I want to go down south and take a look at what we're seeing because we still have about 500,000 customers without power in the New Orleans area. And you're seeing a little bit of rain in and out there, but there's also, if I toggle off the power outage layer, and we're seeing a heat advisory in place. So definitely some hot temperatures there, but they're still seeing some continuing power outages. But now, speaking of hurricanes, hurricane season is in full effect. The peak season actually is September 10th, which is this Friday. So we're going to check in on our storm chaser, Aaron Jack, and take a look at what he's looking at out there in Manitoba, Canada, as he's getting ready for the hurricane season, if there's any more formation here within the next couple of days. Of course, we still could have that peak season, like I said, September 10th. So we're still in the thick of hurricane season. But taking a look at that drone footage, wow, it's amazing there. You're seeing blue skies, a few cumulus clouds, but he is prepping for what's to come there in the hurricane season. Of course, we did see some damage from Ida, and he was actually out there tracking that, as you saw all across our social medias. Definitely a lot of flooding, a lot of reports out there, and that's why I wanted to mention that they're still seeing some issues from what Ida left, and even across the Northeast, we saw some of these issues. But definitely an amazing shot that we were seeing from Manitoba, Canada. Thank you, Aaron, for showing us that. Beautiful scenes there. And of course, it is cooler there as there was a cold front that pushed through most of the country, and we saw those cooler temperatures overall. But let's take a look. And of course, always come back to us because Aaron will be out there tracking the hurricanes as we get more into the season. But taking a look at our viral videos, and we want to show you what is happening out there. Okay, so first we're going to go to our weather stem cameras, courtesy, of course, of our partnership with them. Our first one is from Davison High School, Michigan, and pretty gray day there as there are clouds in those areas. Pretty active scene. Our next weather stem camera Coolidge Middle School from Phoenix, Illinois, not Phoenix, Arizona, Illinois, where all the ongoing severe weather was happening. Right now, it looks like they are clearing, at least in terms of conditions. Just a few little raindrops there on the lens as they're nearing, as those storms push through. But of course, you could still get some of those scattered showers after these storms have pushed through. And then our last weather sim camera comes from Parsons Elementary School in Gibraltar, Michigan. And thankfully right now, they're seeing clear skies, but they did have some of the storms push through. This actually might be before they come in. So as you get that daytime heating, that's what's gonna trigger those thunderstorms. So right now, beautiful, but watch out. You could also see that flag blowing around. The winds are picking up. Okay, so now we wanna go to our videos. And the first one we're gonna show you is the eye of Larry from our satellite images. Wow, look at that huge eye. You're seeing all those cloud formations in between. This storm is pretty impressive, and we can say that thankfully because it's actually out to sea, but it's definitely has gained strength over the past couple of days. But its forecast track is going to lessen, and thankfully right now it's no issue to land, very far out to sea, as we like to call it, a fish storm, but pretty cool to look at. And just look at that eye, it's just so impressive. We could sit here and watch this all day, at least us meteorologists. But there you have the hurricane of Larry right now, which is a Category 3 storm. Our next video is pea-sized hail from Michigan, or I should say Madison, Wisconsin. And you're seeing it there, pretty crazy images as the winds are blowing around and all the rain, torrential rain that has fallen in those areas. So definitely a crazy day all across the board. And there you have it, there's the hail. Pea-sized hail, but nonetheless, it's really making for those areas to be, you can see it in white. Still an ongoing threat there, so if you're there, of course, make sure that you're sending us your video. We want to see it and feature it, of course, all across our platforms. So now I want to show you what's happening out in the tropics. So we're tracking Tropical Storm Larry right now. It's a Category 3 storm, and right now it has winds up to 140, or I should say 110 miles per hour. And then by Thursday, it's actually going to weaken to a Category 2 storm. And I have it labeled right there, St. George, that's Bermuda. It's actually outside of the cone, thankfully. So right now, no threat to land. What it will bring, though, to the East Coast beaches is some pretty dangerous surf and even some dangerous rip currents there. But by Saturday, you're seeing it already a depression and really out to sea. Out there close to Greenland. So definitely something we're still watching, but of course anybody in the New England area and even Nova Scotia will see some dangerous rip currents and even some seas there. Our next system that we're tracking is Invest 91L. So it has picked up at least in chances of formation within the next 5 days, now at a 40% chance, but look at the area it may form. Right now it's just out in the Gulf, but as it slowly moves up the coast, especially across the Florida Panhandle, if you're in any of those areas, watch out for the next couple of days as you will see some dangerous swells as well, and a lot of rain that is going to come. Of course, it's going to cause some of that major flooding in those areas, but then as it moves over Florida, it does actually have a chance of reformation, if any, as it moves over sea. And especially with the water temperatures as warm as they are, this is always a factor. Just something to watch, especially if you're in those areas. And of course, near Georgia, you may see rain totals up to 7 inches. So here's so far what we're going to see in the next 3 days because of that Invest 91L. And up to 3 to 5 inches of rain there. You can see in those purple, red color areas. So if you do live in the Panhandle, just watch out for the possibility of some localized flooding. And then this will eventually move into South Georgia, which it will bring even up to 5 inches of rain out in South Miami as well. So a lot of that moisture is coming into Florida. So just be aware of those conditions. And then as it moves out to sea along the East Coast beaches, let's say South Carolina, you're seeing those blue areas. That does mean it does have a chance as well to get some rain. So our next thing we're tracking here actually is what we're going to see, at least in terms of precipitation all across the country. So of course today we're tracking that front that's causing way for all that severe weather in the Midwest, but take a look at what's going to happen by the next couple of hours. So a lot of the rain is actually centered up there in the Midwest and even down by the Gulf Coast because of Invest 91L. So that's really where all the rain is. But if you take a look out west, can't ever forget them. They are under a drought, and so they are going to get a little bit of relief as the system pushes through the coast there. And then in the next couple of hours, especially heading into the midnight hour, we still have that ongoing severe threat But it does lessen, at least in terms of stability, as it is the skies are dark. So we still may see some severe thunderstorm warnings, but that means all the other risks are at a low factor. Doesn't mean that it won't happen, but still, if you're up there, always be aware of these conditions. Of course, watches up until 11 p.m. And then as we head into your Wednesday in the morning, maybe getting ready for your morning commute, you are going to see some shower activity, especially out in the panhandle of Florida, and then all the way into the Northeast. So what's it going to feel like for your Wednesday? So we're going to see temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, a very nice afternoon, actually, if you are after all that rain moves through, at least in the Northeast, with temperatures in the mid 70s. So pretty nice as we are entering our fall season here. And then in the Ohio Valley, temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, 80s all across some of the plain states, 82 in Nashville, 84 in Springfield, 86 in Memphis. And then as you head to the southeast, this is where you're going to see all the heat. At least it's starting to warm up there in those areas. Temperatures in the upper 80s, 90 in Orlando, 82 in Atlanta, and then you're seeing a temperature of 88 degrees in New Orleans. So it looks like they are coming down on their heat there, but still a lot of people are without power in those areas. And then across the plains, you're seeing a temperature of 90 degrees in Oklahoma City, 93 in Dallas. And then here is where all the heat is right now. And it's still ongoing. But for tomorrow, you're still going to see triple-digit heat all across those areas like Palm Springs, Las Vegas, Reno, Salt Lake City. You're seeing a temperature almost in the triple digits, but could be close. And then across our coastal areas is where all the cooler air is. And then across the Pacific Northwest, you're going to see temperatures in the 90s. And then where that front has already moved through because of triggering all those severe thunderstorm warnings, 75 in Minneapolis as your afternoon high tomorrow. So definitely feeling like fall in those areas over the next couple of days. Okay, guys, so we want to remind you that tomorrow we do have our customer support live stream. And you can join in and ask our meteorologist, Mike Linden, who's actually going to be a part of it. You can ask us about the app, some things you want to learn about it, anything new, and learn any new features that we're going to have with our app as well, and also win some prizes. So make sure you're tuning in tomorrow at 4 Eastern Standard Time. So that means 3 p.m. Central Time. And if you are on the East or the West Coast, I should say, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. So make sure you're always tuning in for that. Answer all of your questions. If you're curious about anything, make sure to ask that. And of course, our meteorologist, Mike Linden, will be with y'all tomorrow for that. But always remember, follow us all across the board, all of our social media pages, especially in the next coming weeks, where we're going to have at least a little bit more Spanish content for you. So if you speak Spanish or have any family members, make sure they're checking out our Twitter, our Facebook, and our Instagram, MyRadar, and ES, so Espanol, there. So make sure you're checking us out. And of course, always follow us and always send us your video. We would love to see what you're seeing in your hometown. But thank you so much for joining us. And of course, your fast forecast. Always tune in for that tomorrow. Have a great day.